take it as slow as possible and describe as much as you saw, it'd be very helpful.
So at that point is when he comes back onto the grass, and I don't know if he like slipped or turned. He spins to his, I want to say it was his left, and then he takes his arm and goes like up to Jimmy.
So Taylor, I'm going to have you stand up. Your Honor, if I just may have the witness demonstrate what she observed.
Okay.
So Taylor, if I'm Jimmy, okay, where were you in relation to where you saw Jimmy?
Probably a little farther back, but diagonally, just like this.
So if I move back a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. And so where was the defendant positioned to where you saw Jimmy?
Like right there.
Okay. And if you can demonstrate, and Your Honor, let the record reflect that the witness is pointing to her left-hand side towards members of the jury as to where the defendant was standing. She indicated that James McGrath was standing to the defendant's left-hand side and directly in front of her.
Record will reflect.
So can you please just show members of the jury what you observed the defendant do with his arms and the motion he used in doing what he did to James McGrath.
So, with his right arm, I remember he turns and just like kind of goes like upwards towards Jimmy.
The record reflection on the witness is turning using her right hand and making an upward motion, indicating that the defendant was making an upward motion into Jimmy McGrath.
Note that on the record, thank you.
So Taylor, when you saw the defendant come back from the vehicle and come back around, and as you said, turned around and made that motion up into Jimmy, did you see what he was holding in his hand?
I couldn't see exactly.
Can you describe or show us what he was doing with his hand? Was it open? Was it closed?
It was in a fist, and you could tell, obviously, that there was something in his hand.
And when he came back around to use whatever was in his fist to go into Jimmy, what was Jimmy doing at that point?
He kind of just like he was backing up, and like his hands kind of were up, and he just like is walking backwards a little bit. Takes like a step back.
When the defendant came back from the vehicle and came back around, did you observe him swinging the knife at random people, or did you observe him coming and making a beeline for Jimmy?
He came right for Jimmy.
Did he have purpose in going towards him?
It looked like it.
Did he say anything when he was lunging towards Jimmy?
Not that I remember.
And at that point, did you realize what he had just done?
Yeah.
And if you can indicate to members of the jury what you observed Jimmy do next after you saw the defendant stab him.
He kind of just stood there for a second, and just like falls down onto the ground. And you can see he had those white shorts on. You could just see them all covered in blood.
And after you saw that, what, if anything, did you do?
I didn't know what to do. I literally froze. And then everyone kind of was looking around, seeing that everyone was at this point that Faison had actually come up to me. And I saw his arm, and it was just like a chunk of Faison, like his like fat tissue was coming out of his arm. And he was like, can you tie this? And I'm not good with blood, so I was like, Faison, I'm so sorry. Like, I really can't help you. And someone else ended up helping him. And then that's when I ended up calling my mom. And then I called my dad, and he ended up coming.
At any point before you saw Jimmy get stabbed, or as you saw Jimmy get stabbed, did you hear him say anything?
No, not that I remember Jimmy saying anything.
And who were you with? What was drawn? Was anyone around you? Were you tending to anyone other than, like you indicated, Faison when this was happening?
No, just Faison.
Where was Michaela Holton at this point?
I think she walked back, like backwards. At that point, I think I was standing by myself. I was so focused on what just happened, I really don't remember.
After you noticed what happened to Jimmy, after you saw Faison's injuries, when did you realize Tommy had also gotten stabbed?
There was a flashlight pointing down on Tommy's leg. So I guess it was, after that I saw Tommy, and everyone was kind of trying to tie like a tourniquet, I guess you could say, onto his leg with like shirts that the guys had on.
All right.